All right, welcome to another episode of Inside Hollywood with Vinny. This evening, joining us from Virginia is a lovely lady who is a producer, she's an actress, and she's a public educator, and God knows I need more education. But she's not here for me, she's here for you. I want to welcome to the show Lillie Mae Jones-Parrish. Lillie, welcome to the show.
Hello, Vinny, and thank you so much for having me. You are a ball of energy, so I know we're going to have a good time tonight.
I come alive with these podcasts. The rest of the day, I'm falling asleep. But I'll tell you what, I'm happy and excited to be with you, Lillie. You got some great projects. You want to tell the guests a little bit about yourself. And I'm wiping my head here because I definitely want to talk about full-figured flings. But we'll get back into that in just a moment. But let's tell everybody a little bit about yourself first.
Well, first and foremost, guys, I am Lillie Mae, Lillie Mae Jones-Parrish, but everybody knows me as Lillie Mae. I hold hard and strong to that name. I was named after my paternal grandmother. I'm a daddy's girl, so anything that my daddy gave me, I'm holding on to, okay? But by day, I work in the space of arbitration and underwriting. And so I do a lot of work with regulatory compliance and assessing and evaluating risk. Okay. So that speaks to my advocacy and my passion for integrity and ethics in film and entertainment. I am an actress, producer, and public educator. And I say that because not only do we have a production management company, we also have a nonprofit where education, information, and inspiration is our goal for our young people.
That's fantastic. I love it. So now, what got you interested in movie making? Tell us that journey.
So my journey began in the world of theater and opera when I was like 3 or 4, right? Those are the spaces where talent and endurance are everything. So, one day I decided to explore something new, and that was modeling. Now, when I first stepped into runway modeling, I was probably about 417 pounds, right? That weight, right? But then after about a 10-year weight loss journey, I stepped back into runway modeling. And another plus size model told me I was knock-kneed and suggested that I stick to hosting shows instead of trying to walk a runway. Because according to them, I didn't have the right walk, right? So needless to say, in that particular show, I hosted the show. But for my grand entrance, I chose to walk the runway anyway. And that moment changed everything. From then on, I started getting booked for runway shows. And that was the first time I said enough with the sidelines. Hence why breaking into filmmaking really came out of the fact that as a runway model, you stop, you pose, you do a face, but I have something to say. And I knew that filmmaking, media, and journalism was the way for me to speak and reach masses.
I love that. And look, see, I try to give everybody a little nugget of wisdom. What you just did right there is you don't listen to anybody. You do what your heart says and you do your thing. I love that.
Yes.
Now, we're, struggling with, adversity and going through, because it's not an easy business. I'm a filmmaker myself and did some stuff, and it's not easy no matter which way, or any which way. There's so many obstacles. There's so many challenges. It's hard to raise money. It's hard to find talent. Your best friends start hating you for no reason. All kinds of stuff starts happening. So tell us now, full-figured fling. Now, let's jump into a little bit of that. What's that all about? Tell us what you can and how the whole thing came about.
So, Full-Figure Flings is streaming now everywhere, okay? Because the young lady that's leading it, shout out to Monica Russian. Basically, one day, I was working on a project for somebody else, and I was casting. And this lady said that she wanted she said big girl, like a real big girl that didn't look like the traditional big girls that's everywhere. And I was like, okay, so you want a real full figure woman. I said, all right, I'm with it. So I casted this young lady for this one particular project. And we became, friends. So one day she came to me and she said, Miss Lillie, I'm auditioning, I'm submitting, and I'm not getting selected. I said, all right. So I told her to submit for a project that I knew I was working on the casting team for. And I knew she did a doggone great job. Vinny, needless to say, what happened? I knew it was going to happen. They saw her headshot. They bypassed it. So finally, when we got to the end, I said, hey, can we go back and look at her audition? Vinny, she blew it out the water. I said, so what y'all think? Now understand that directors have an aesthetic. They know what they're looking for. But at what point do we stop this aesthetic business and truly look at the talent that a person has? And I understand all of this sex sells and people want to look at something good. That's not my story, and I'm not sticking to their story. So, needless to say, I laid down that night. That thing bothered me all night, Vinny. I woke up in the middle of the night, rolled over, and told my husband, full figured flings. I said, Dominique, I'm going to write a movie so that Monica can star in it. She can lead it. And I'm going to use real men that actually do enjoy the essence of plus size women. And even if they don't, for the first time ever, you're going to be looked at as the eye candy, and the women are going to be looked at, the plus size women are going to be looked at as controlling the narrative. And honestly, Vinny, that was my story, right? I was 417 pounds at my heaviest. I was the size that I am now, probably at the size of 7 years old. And I remember my mom and dad, they put me in gymnastics. They put me, I played softball, I played volleyball, I bowled, I swam, I did all of dance. I did all of these things. And what it did was it gave me a different confidence, and it put me in arenas with a lot of people. But what I know is that everybody didn't have that story. Every girl didn't have a daddy that told her she was beautiful every morning and every night and truly put that in her, because a girl needs her daddy to give her that. A mama can't give a daughter what a father can. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what people say. A father instills a different kind of confidence in a little girl, just like a mother does for a son. And so I put all of those things into full figured flings. And then the journey with colorism. I was raised by older parents. So my parents were real civil rights activists, right? My mother was a part of the movement in Danville, Virginia, which was one of the most atrocious cities for the blue movement. That's where Bloody Monday took place. And so knowing all of these things and understanding colorism and seeing it firsthand in my family, Full Figured Flings is a cultural narrative, Vinny, that is telling the story of how full-figured women are ostracized and exploited in film and entertainment. They're either the comedic best friend, the butt of all the jokes, the insecure girl that's going around sleeping with everybody because she don't love herself. But they never show us as desirable. They never show us as truly commanding the room. So when you look at Full Figured Flings, it is not just a film. Everybody's saying, oh, it's a movement. No, this really is a movement. This is a cultural narrative. This is a cultural movement. And real talk, even though I'm talking about black women and colorism and things of that nature, because that's who we are, right? I'm a black woman. That's all I understand. This story is for all full-figured women of all shapes, sizes, and colors, because all full-figured women are in a melting pot together, and we all are treated the same way.
You said it. I mean, everything you just said, I agree with 100%. And by you saying it, you got me thinking, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I noticed that they are the butt of the jokes. They are like at the, sort of like they mock them. And look, I have two little girls myself, and it really touched me when you said that, little girls need their daddies to tell them they're beautiful. And you know what? Now I really got to emphasize that with my kids and my daughters. But I don't like, I'm more sensitive to it now. I guess now that I have kids and I see the sensitivity behind it, but I hate bullyism. I hate, how people like are just, especially these kids, man. I don't know where these parents are, if they're not raising them right, but the worst thing you could do is hurt somebody based on their looks or their color. I mean, it's so sad. Like these kids start out just happy and joyful, and then there's always somebody,
It's hard.
and TV is guilty of it itself because the subliminal messages are
Yes.
making their self-esteem go down the tubes.
Absolutely, Vinny. I was in a group, and and I'm pretty sure you're in some of the groups too. I'm in a lot of the Facebook groups. And when I really first got into this independent filmmaking journey, because honestly, prior to independent film, I did a lot of things, with media. So I was on the news, whether it was local news or doing segments, for different news stations. And I also did a comedic set on Dr. Oz. And so that was real interesting because the young lady that hosted his inserted segments, she was a chocolate plus size woman, and that's when I was like, yes girl, get it right. And so I was in a group one day and I saw this lady and she posted a picture and she was like, what kind of role can I get with my body like this? And I was like, huh? Somebody commented and said, damn, I must need to get my body done so that I can start getting casted. And I was like, I started to type and I said, you know what? This is not your battle. I'm like, y'all better embrace your bodies. Embrace your natural bodies, because it's obvious the natural body isn't necessarily desired, or is it desired? But society and social media has told everybody that the natural body isn't powerful. It's not poised. I think it's the other way around. I think those persons who are mutilating their bodies to fit an image that society is pushing is angry, insecure, lazy, hypersexualized, and just simply the punchline.
Amen to all that, because I mean, this started many decades ago with them telling us how to dress, how to look, how to be. I mean, it's just so, I mean, with technology, it's such a great thing because people like you and I can connect. But the bad part of it is they're watching these reels, they're watching these shows, they're watching these things, and they think they got to look just as crazy as these other people do. And again, I feel really scared and really sad for my daughters because they're going to get bombarded, and they already are, with all this stereotypical stuff on how they should look and how they. And yeah, I want to tell you another thing too, because I love the fact that you're a confident woman. And I want to say this, and I mean this respectfully to the women out there, because I have, wife and mother. I love all my women in my family. The thing is, I don't like when people say, like, you want to take a picture. Oh no, I don't want to hear a woman say that. I hate when women say, "I look." No, you don't look horrible, and you, especially when they don't, because you are putting all this negativity out there, and you're just beating yourself up. I hate hearing that when women are just, "Oh, I'm a mess. I'm ugly." That's horrible. Where are they getting it from? They get it from the TV and from these reels.
And you know, Vinny, it started with Photoshop. No, I know people that will edit every picture that they post just because they may have a pudge. Or they gonna turn to the side and take a picture. Like, it Vinny, it saddens. It's just so sad to me.
Yep.
It's
I
sad. Because the picture that you're editing is not you.
Self love. That's what it comes
Yes.
down to. And we're living in such vain,
Mm-hmm.
egotistical, sick times.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just praying. I'm really mean praying that
Yes.
we can get a hold on this, because it's becoming like widespread. It's
It
dangerous.
is.
People, and
It
it's
is.
breeding all kinds of jealousy and hatred, and it's not good. It's a horrible thing. And that's why when we talk about, and I am not trying to, like, people talk about unity, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
know, like, women need to stick together, men need to stick together, this, that. Nobody sticks together because we're living in such a selfish society that people are really only worried about themselves, man. It's a horrible thing.
You know, Vinny, one of the things that I realized, because in age I'm classified as a millennial, but because of the age of my parents when they had me, technically, if they would have had me at the natural age, back then when people were having kids young, I would have been a baby boomer. And Vinny, I do believe that really, I am a baby boomer. Because what I've noticed is that I do not identify or fit in with other millennials. And honestly, I don't even identify with some Gen Xers. I legitimately identify with those baby boomers, those people that were unapologetically themselves, those people who stepped up and stood up in the face of adversity and was willing to take one for the team, those that got arrested because they refused to allow that separate but equal was okay. But now, you know what the philosophy is? Not my baby, not my problem. No, these are all of our babies. And when something happens to one of them, it is all of our problem. And I feel the same way about what we're doing in film and entertainment. I am a firm believer that what I put out on that television screen, I'm going to be held accountable for on Judgment Day. So what I will not do, and I don't proclaim to be perfect by any means, because one thing about it, I'm still striving for perfection. I always say I am saved but not yet delivered, because I will turn it on if I need to, if somebody push me there, okay? But I still try to at least put good things out into the world. Vinny, one of the things that I hate, and I say this all the time, and I say this, I can only talk about my people because it's what I see and it's what I've experienced. But I get so sick and tired of my people always talking about how other people look at us, but the very thing that most people think of us and the very way that the news portrays us is the same BS that they're putting out in these films that they're making. Everybody is a drug dealer. Every girl is a single mama that's a nurse or a secretary, but at nighttime she on the pole and she leave her baby with the grandma. No, maybe that was your story, but stop putting it out there. Show them where you are now, and maybe you're still there. But maybe if you write about where you want to be or where you aspire to be, maybe you can manifest that, since we live in this world of manifesting things. But I also think that we live in a world where everybody is delusional because of social media. And they think that everything on social media is real, so much so that I saw a woman today that was a little bit, I could tell she's older than me. I know she's older than me. They were sharing a meme about the fact that Gen Zers think that we need to get rid of the thumbs up button on social media because it's cold. What? The thumbs, you think that low of yourself, that the thumbs up button gonna make you go tuck your tail and cry? Well, then you have a bigger problem than that thumbs up button. And it's gonna require weekly sessions with the LPC or LCSW or LMFT. So
Well,
yeah, it's a lot, Vinny. When I tell you, I will not stop creating real, authentic content that people need to see and people need to hear. I don't care if it's not popular. Because what I do know, what is done in decency and in order will prevail.
I agree with you, and I agree. And listen, to sort of like similar to same thing with the Italians. You know, we're always doing mob movies. You know, so it's,
Yes! But Benny, you're right. It's like, I get it, right? I get, let's tell our story. But the funny thing is, like right now, I'm writing my mom and dad's story. Both of my parents are deceased, but my dad went into Alzheimer's when I was between 12 and 13. And so I'm telling that story. I'm telling the good, the bad, and the ugly. But why can't we tell those stories? You get what I'm saying? Why can't we tell the stories that's going to help somebody versus the stories that's going to make these kids think that this BS is okay and want to go out there and emulate it?
I know, and you know what? I don't. You know, we start scrolling and we find different things on these phones,
Mm-hmm.
and there are, you know, there is. I don't know if it's a conspiracy, if it's true, if it's not true, but it sounds like back in the day they kind of did put together a lot of these movies and songs and music purposely to mess up a whole generation of people. Like, I mean, is it possible? I think it is possible. I think they did a really good job. If it
Oh,
was,
Vinny,
if it
of
was on
course.
purpose.
Just like the crack epidemic.
Yeah.
Now, I don't, look, we're not going to get political. I'm going to have to bring you on my show so we can have that conversation. But just like the crack epidemic. Uh-huh. Just like the New Deal.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. We don't want to go there because, baby, one thing about it, like I told you, people look at me as a filmmaker. They don't know my background in academia and political administration. So, you know, all of that goes into this filmmaking. So yeah, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that for
Well,
real.
and
But you,
that's the thing. But Lily Mae, what I do like is that you are telling stories that are not typical. That's the thing we got to start doing as filmmakers. Because me too, I'm looking, and I did a couple shorts. I'm writing some screenplays, but I'm looking to pull out something authentic that I've gone through, something that other people. That's not the same typical junk that people are
yes.
just keep on consuming.
Vinny, I'm with you. Listen, all you got to do is put in a call, and we will pull up in Philly, and we got your back. If you trying to tell something authentic, and it's something you want to do, if it's something we can do to help you, because my philosophy is, and I should say our philosophy is, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain.
Yep. I agree with you. See, you were raised the way I wish a lot more people were raised. And I'm old school. My parents are from Italy. I was raised with a very old school mentality
Uh huh.
about respecting others and,
Yes.
very, tied to God and doing the right thing and being humble. And you know what? We got to teach these people out here because they need some guidance. It's not always their fault. They grow up at a very big disadvantage because they have a very bad home life. And that's the sad part of it. They're growing up with the devil in their homes.
And you know, Vinny, do you realize that for a long time, even as a grown woman, it took for me, I was working at the school board office in 2011. And I was working for a program It took for my supervisor to say to me, Lillie, everybody didn't grow up like you. Vinny, in 2011, I was 26 years old. It took me 26 years to be told and to really see that everybody didn't grow up like me. Vinny, I thought everybody grew up with a mother and a father that they went to sleep and woke up to, with a grandmother that was either driving distance or walking distance, with aunts and uncles that just showered them with love, like with an extended family, with a church family that I literally thought everybody had that. And I guess because everybody was in and out of our house, like I watched my parents raise kids that by the time my brother and I came along, these people were grown. So, they would come to our house and it was like, I'm like, you ain't my brother or sister. But come to find out, my parents used to look after them while their parents weren't at home. Or maybe their parents didn't even know it and they had walked down to our house because my mom cooked all the time. It's just, but once again, Full Figure Flings, Revolution of Influence, Confederation of Free States. These are all projects that we are having. Well, Full Figure Flings, 1 and part 2 is in post. But we just finished Revolution of Influence, which is telling the story of a public educator turned first black female president of the Union, but not until she brings back the Confederate States of America first. And that's going to knock your socks off. So just think about what I just said, okay? And then Confederation of Free States, which tells the story of how this black woman brought all of these conservatives and liberals together and they truly built up a new union. Like I'm telling you, Vinny, this is what I dreamed of as a kid. These are the things that I said I was going to do in real life. So for me to be able to write it and put it out there so that generations to come, they may be able to pull from this and do something different.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You want to make sure that the stuff that you're putting out there, not only it's cathartic, it feels good, you're putting it out there, but also it could influence who knows who. I
Yes.
mean, great movies. Look at Rocky. Look at a lot of these movies, that are timeless. You influence millions of people. You don't even realize it, but so
Yes.
that's what we need: more positive message, more interesting. Get the people to think, not be so like these. A lot of movies, like I don't know a better word to use. It's almost like they were trying to appeal to your primitive instincts, sex, drugs, alcohol. Like these are all gateways to
Oh, yeah.
destruction.
I had to ask my husband, don't nobody get shot in Full Figure Flings. And my husband was like, no, we had an old school fist fight and everybody lived despite another day.
That's the way we grew up, right?
Yes. It's implied, but you don't see it. And I saw a girl, an actress. She was like, "Oh well, people want to see sex. People." I said, "Oh no, you just want to have sex. That's what that is. It ain't no people want to see sex. Because there's plenty of films without sex that are doing very well, even in mainstream Hollywood. So what are you talking about?"
Yeah, all the romantic comedies. Look how great they do. I agree with you. We got to educate these people, this audience out there. But it's not. Again, it's not always their fault. They're conditioned
Yeah.
for years on this garbage. Listen, I mean, we got to just keep on doing the right thing,
Yes.
and you keep on doing these movies because that's really where I think that you're going to find a very strong following with it. You already have, but you're
Yeah.
going to find an even bigger following with that because when you put a positive message, people that have been so kind of like beat up by life are going to look at you and say,
Yes.
"Oh man, now I got something that makes me feel good. Now I got something that's uplifting that I can share with my people." And it gives you a reason to say, you know what? I got to start getting into a better set mindset. I got to start believing in myself. That's why every movie really should give a positive message. It should change you. It somehow should change you. And that's what I think you're doing perfectly. So I give you a lot of kudos, and I'm so blessed to know you. And I can't wait to keep following you and promoting you and being
Likewise.
an ally in the fight.
Yes, because we got to do it. Look, we got to do it for all of us. We're all included in this, all of us.
A
Because
lot
the
of people don't
powers that
understand.
be, really
Yeah.
and truly, they don't care nothing about any of us down here. And let's just call it what it is. We are all in the same barrel when it comes to the powers that be.
We are, and that's being divided is what keeps them where they are, and
Thank
keeps us
you.
where we are.
Yes.
So that's something that we got to remind people because they're just so distracted and so confused. But and when it comes down to it, comes to being kind, being faithful, being good, godly people. That's you can't go wrong with that. You're never going to regret being a good person. So it takes overcoming a lot of these things that we grew up with. We grew up with a certain mindset. We're programmed a certain way. Sometimes it's good. maybe in our cases, and then sometimes, a lot of times, too many times, it's a bad program that we grew up with. So there has to be a better message, and that's what you're doing. So I give you a lot of praise for that.
Thank you.
Well, Lillie Mae, is there any way we can? How can we find you? I mean, we want to find you now. So tell us where we could do that.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, guys, you can go right to our website, which is www.b as in boy, the number two, B as in boy, P as in Paul, M as in Mary, G as in goat.com. That's www.b2bpmg.com. Back to the basics PMG. And if you go there, you will see me everywhere. So if you Google Lillie Mae the Collective, my SEO is pretty strong. So all you got to do is put in Lillie Mae the Collective. That's LILLIEMAETHECOLLECTIVE. Lillie Mae the Collective.
I love it. And we will also provide links. So on the YouTube channel, we're going to make sure in the description box, we'll have all of Lillie Mae's links. So make sure you are supporting her. You're following her social media, leave reviews, and be another ally in this fight to get a positive message out. I love what you're doing, Lillie Mae. It's an honor and blessing for me to sit here and talk about your journey.
Thank you. And Vinny, once again, thank you for having us. And guys, please remember, true full figure women are truly the backbone of resilience, of triumph, and of unconditional love. And it's time the world saw that.
That's right. And that's a very important message. And make sure we think twice now. We think of things a little bit differently. So I welcome all of you again. Make sure you support and follow Lillie Mae. Please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, our guest has been the wonderful producer, actress, and public educator. I've learned a lot today, that's for sure. The wonderful Lillie Mae Jones Perry. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.